Hey, Scruffy. How you doing? Saw you on the table. Having your legs healed? Something you're back to normal? I don't think you're limping anymore. So I have meaty pate with real chicken and tuna, kibble, and a little bit of rotisserie chicken scraps. I'm trying to cut back a little bit. So you got your normal portions and slightly smaller portion of rotisserie chicken scraps tonight. Though actually, it's not because I'm trying to cut your food, though I am, but actually I'm hoping they'll feed you a little faster tonight. Slightly behind on things. And I want to see if I can still go for a run. Probably a short run. But I'm going to try it anyway. No, Scruff's running away. It's not good. Why are you running away? Do this every night. For 2 years. So yeah, I just saw Scruffy on the table as I was entering the kitchen. I was able to grab my camera before he jumped off. But yeah, he's looking right at through the kitchen window, so he might have been waiting for me. I'm actually a little earlier tonight. I think I'm about 25 minutes early to dinner instead of 15. But yeah, I've been behind on things all day. Just planning on going for a run today. I was thinking I was going to go for a long run, but yeah, I got really busy with stuff, and yeah, basically I didn't go. And here it is, dinner time, losing all the sun. So I'm thinking I can try going for a short run if I feed Scruffy before the sun sets. So I am thinking I'm going to take off soon. So I've been researching I-bonds, and there's a $10,000 limit per person every year. So this year, because the inflation adjusted rate's really high because inflation has been so bad. And so it makes sense to purchase I-bonds. The main limitation is you can only put $10,000 in. So it's a really good deal. The reason the government can give you a good deal is because they cap everyone's contribution limit to $10,000. So in the grand scheme of things, even though the government's losing money on this, because the aggregate amounts that people can put into it are so relatively small, it doesn't really cost the Treasury to do this type of program. But I found out there's a potential trick that you can use to get around the $10,000 limit. So apparently if you gift I-bonds to somebody else, you can basically get around the limit. So the idea is that you could ask a family member or a friend or a spouse to basically gift you $10,000, and then in return you gift them $10,000, both in I-bonds. So you don't actually give them the cash, you give them the I-bonds. Now there's a slight catch. It's not a major catch, but it's a slight catch. So you're not allowed to actually take direct control of the bonds when you give them, if you've already contributed $10,000 for the year. But next year, instead of adding another $10,000 to your account, because you'll have the limit reset in the following year, you can claim the $10,000 that was gifted to you as your $10,000 allotment for that year. And but the trick is that the interest rate is locked in and starts accruing the moment you got gifted, not when you take claim of it in the following year. So basically, the idea is if you believe that the inflation rate that they measure is peaking right now and it will be lower next year, then this is a good time to lock in the bonds and lock in this rate into the future. So it sounded really great, and so I've been asking family and friends if they want to do this with me. Of course, it's kind of, it's last minute, and and the other problem is that not everyone has $10,000 lying around, and so it's kind of a big ask. I've been keeping a lot of cash on the sidelines because of I've been basically watching the market pretty closely for the past couple years, and I've been worried basically about what's happening right now. So I kind of not exactly predicted it, but I was in that kind of ballpark that everything that's happened over the past number of years is leading up to basically kind of a disaster, present blowing up in your face type thing. So anyway, so I've had cash on hand to basically try to take advantage of when there's a market crash or something. So this isn't exactly a market crash, but hey, you can lock in some I bonds, which are basically risk-free since they're basically guaranteed by the Treasury. So I think I'm going to get Scruffy his food a little early here. Ready for feed? I'm going to get you your food. Okay. So I want to try to get out of here a little sooner so I can hit the trail before it gets completely dark. Okay. So as I mentioned, right before I came out here, or I was prepared, entered the kitchen to prepare dinner. Scruffy was on the big table, and so I got a shot of him as he was jumping off. But he looked straight at me before I got the camera. Which was telling me it's dinner time. And then, he's waiting for me at lunch, and I brought out the water, and once again, a little bit of kibble. I tried to pare down the kibble a little bit, so I think it's still about half a scoop. I might have put slightly less this time, but still on that same ballpark. So he ate it pretty fast, and I was actually, as I said, busy all day, so I didn't want to stay out here too long filming him. But I haven't noticed any limping. He looks mostly normal. I mean, he always has a kind of a funny walk in my opinion, but I think that might be arthritis. It's not the same as the big limp that he had a couple weeks ago. So, and he was keeping his foot off the ground on a couple occasions. So I think he really really hurt his foot or leg. But I think it might be healed now, especially since he decided to jump up on the table this afternoon and jump down. And I didn't see him limping on the way back over to the door. So, anyway, yeah, the IBON thing. So it looked like, yeah, it's a pretty good deal if you can basically find a person to do it with. Most people do it with their spouse. It's easiest, but I don't have that ability. So, so I was looking for a friend, or friends to do it with, and yeah, I actually contacted a couple relatives too. But yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a little too last minute and a little steep on the cash requirements, and then not everyone is comfortable enough with buying bonds from treasurydirect.gov. So, but I had one friend who was willing to go with it, but so this is where the big thing comes in today. He got back to me, and he believes that there's actually a gift tax problem if you do it if you don't do it to a spouse. I was under the impression there was no gift tax thing because the gift tax allowance is $16,000 per person per year. So a $10,000 IBON is below that. But he found an argument that suggested because the IBON cannot be claimed immediately and can only be claimed in the future, that's a future. He says it's classified as a future gift, not a present gift. And I was going to move the ball, but Scruffy's head's in the way. Move the ball. No, he doesn't want me to move the ball. He wants to eat. Well, there we go. So anyway, yeah, there's a provision in the tax code that has something about future gifts, and that is not exempt from the gift tax exemption. And so the question mark is, does gifting an IBON count as a future gift or a present gift? And I spent a lot of my day trying to figure that out and couldn't find the answer. Most people don't even bring it up. Most people don't think it's a problem. My friend cited one article that said it was a problem. I found the second article that suggested it might be a problem, but they said they don't know. But I think that's enough to basically stop us in our tracks. So I don't want to make my friend's tax filing even more painful than it has to be. So I don't want to push it. I think in my case, I'd probably, I'm sure I'd probably regret it, but I'd probably, because nobody else seems to know or care about this thing. I'm thinking it's probably okay. It's probably not enforced, and I don't think the IRS is going to care that much. So. But yeah, my friend, I don't want to, my friend's doing me a favor by doing it, so I don't want to push it. So I don't want to put him in a uncomfortable position. or set them up for a tax nightmare down the road. So I guess we'll just forget it. But yeah, real shame. And I kind of screwed up my taxes too. So because I did it myself this year, I didn't know about. There's another clause that says you can, if they, if you get if you get a tax refund, you can use the tax refund to buy extra I bonds up to I think $5,000. And I didn't know about that until after I filed. And in retrospect, I should have probably amended my tax return to take advantage of it, but since it took them something like, it was over 6 months for them to process my tax return, and I was worried they lost it. I was worried it was going to get audited. I don't want to muck with it. So, if I have to get a tax lawyer, it's going to cost me probably more than I make in the I-bond. Yeah, it's what a pain. So I think blend it. So I think, yeah, the first 6 months the interest rates was a little over 9%, I think, and then this next one's down to 6%. So blended, it comes out to about 8%, but it's basically, it's U.S. Treasury bonds. It's basically risk-free, so basically virtually no risk, and getting an 8% return. It's hard to get an 8% return anywhere, but especially with no risk. In a good year in the stock market, that's 8% return on an index ETF. That's considered a good year with, and you took a lot of risk. So an I bond that basically can't lose principal. It's risk free. You get 8%. It's fantastic. Yeah, inflation's probably 20%. But yeah, stock market's down, I think, 20% before inflation. Here to get the bull. So after inflation, it's down a lot more. Okay, folks. Looks like Scruffy is healed, I think. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.